Are your cloud infrastructure costs spiraling out of control? Do you struggle to forecast your budget requirements? Hey Pixelers, Michael Haddon here. What is FinOps? FinOps, short for Cloud Financial Operations, is a practice that aims to optimize the financial management of cloud services. This is not to be confused with the role of financial operations, which exists specifically in the finance world. Engineers who were previously mainly concerned with performance in relation to hardware now need to think of the cost of their infrastructure choices and its impact on the business. Finance teams who were traditionally focused on retroactive reporting now need to proactively partner with tech and engineering teams to accurately forecast and report costs to executives and investors. Over the years, cloud providers have created more and more complex pricing options for their products. The pay-as-you-go model of cloud services has made it easier for engineers to innovate quickly, but has led to a lack of cost efficiency and difficulty for finance teams to keep track of spending. With some cloud providers, cost predictions from their cost calculators can be wildly different from the real-world situation. This is less because the cost calculators are incorrect, but more to do with the fact that you may not fully understand all the possible services you end up paying for. Prius Effect. The Prius Effect refers to the behavior change observed in drivers of the Toyota Prius hybrid car, who, when presented with real-time feedback on their petrol consumption, were found to adjust their driving habits in order to decrease fuel consumption. This instant feedback loop allows drivers to make conscious decisions on how to conserve energy, something that was previously done subconsciously. By utilizing FinOps, we can allow our staff to see through the opaque cost complexity of our cloud platform and make insightful and deliberate decisions to limit costs. The Money Pit. In the book, Cloud FinOps 2nd Edition, a first-hand experience is delivered by one of the authors, and I quote, "During a previous visit to one of the world's largest cloud spenders, I learned that, despite 9 figures a year of annual cloud spend, no one was sharing those costs with the engineers who were incurring them. When they finally did reveal those costs to the engineering team, it was typically 30 to 60 days later during an aggregate cost center review. They had the raw data available, but because they hadn't adopted a culture of FinOps, they hadn't implemented a feedback loop directly to those making decisions on how much cloud to use. Once they did, the results were immediate and dramatic. One of the first teams provided with this visibility discovered they had been spending over $200,000 per month running development environments that they really didn't need. With only 3 hours of engineering effort, they shut down all the unnecessary resources and saved enough money to hire an additional team of engineers. I have previously worked on projects with a comparable issue. We had the ability for people to spin up development clusters. Initially, the thought was people would only use them temporarily for a few hours max at a time and then spin them down. Sometimes it starts that way. Often it ends with a few clusters that far outlive their initial intended life cycle, and costs balloon and explode uncontrollably. Without a proactive feedback from the financial team, this destructive behavior can go unchecked for multiple months and cost the company serious money. Breaking the barrier. The core concepts of FinOps are similar to the core concepts of DevOps, where the most important aspect is breaking the barrier between your company's departments. We can break the barrier by ensuring that everyone becomes responsible for their own cost spendings, ensure that real-time metrics of spendings is visible to everyone, and ensure that costs are a part of technical decision-making at the same extent as other quality attributes. A wise decision would be to include the finances of a system as a core component in the same dashboards that convey system uptime and performance. The goal is to avoid concealing the information and to present it in a way that it becomes an integral part of the engineer's role. implementing FinOps should not be delayed until cost reduction is necessary, as it aims to establish a culture of cost awareness in engineering. Therefore, it is advisable to start as early as possible to avoid incurring unnecessary expenses. Why are we doing this? It might seem that the purpose of FinOps is primarily to save a company money, potentially at the cost of the amount of fun engineers can have. Perhaps, but the goal of a company is not necessarily to save money. The ability to redirect more money to scalability and innovation can allow a company to crush their competition in the market, especially when their competition is weighed down by unmanaged costs. The growth of services and toolings with minimal upfront costs allows companies to increase their agility and flexibility in the marketplace, which is quickly becoming the main component which identifies a company's success. The goal is not to cut costs at the expense of our IT system, as such a decision could be catastrophic to the success of the organization. Just like being more conscious when driving an electric car, you can still drive the car to the exact same places you want to go, while having more money left over for other activities. Remember, spending is fine, wasting is not. I recommend you read up on the State of FinOps report, as it can be quite insightful on the difficulties that companies face when implementing FinOps. There is substantially more information on this topic, and if you want to learn more, I heavily recommend the Cloud FinOps 2nd edition book. Lastly, it is important that you recognize that everything I have said in this video is becoming its own entire discipline. On the FinOps website, we can see all the available vacancies here at jobs.finops.org. These positions can pay quite well, as right now there is a shortage of people with these skills and relevant certifications. Thanks for checking out this video. As always, I hope you guys have a lovely day. Cheers!